Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of July 28th. And before I begin, I just want to let my listeners know that I really appreciate you being tuned in every week to get the astrology report, although it is time for Stacey Dredd to take a week off. So next week, I will not be here with a fresh report. So August 11th will be the next time that I have a fresh program here for you, but I am going to do 2 weeks of astrology today in this chat because it's actually a perfect time. The astrology is giving me the opportunity to just take a little break. I don't have anything important going on. It is a moment and I should just take it. So anyways, a good breather. And this is actually a really quiet time in the astrology. So this week though, we are truly working with this Aquarius full moon energy. And then it's pretty quiet until we have Chiron stationing retrograde on next week, early next week. And then Venus moves into a new sign. And then she makes an impactful meeting with the minor grand trine at 4 degrees of all of their signs, also by the second week of August. So we really do kick it off though with this big Aquarius moon on July 28th. The moon moves into Aquarius and it's just all full moon vibes from here. This is a very, very big one. There's a lot of alignments with this full moon. And it just happens to be at 6 degrees of Leo, but that's 2 degrees away from 4 degrees, which is where we are having this major alignment of these 3 outer planets. And then Jupiter is also conjunct this full moon at 6 degrees. So we're including Jupiter energy, the sun, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus all around this 4 degree point. So it's more of this cradle action. That's what this alignment is called when you have the planets lined up in this opposition between the sun, Jupiter, and Pluto. And then Uranus and Pluto are in a trine, and that leaves Neptune in a sextile with both Pluto and Uranus. And so what you just want to know about this is that it's an alignment. It's a very rare alignment that is supportive and it's harmonious and it's supporting things, activities, decisions that we're making in life, and the actions we're deciding to take are supported by this energy. And so as we develop into the full moon on the 29th. Actually, the full moon's very early in the morning, 7:30 a.m. on the 29th. And so the buildup is really on the 28th, and we're feeling that into the evening. And it's Aquarius. It's big energy because it's electrifying, because it's ruled by Uranus. It's electric. It's anxious. It's irritable. It's all of that really like stimulating, fresh, free flowing type of thinking. We're getting a lot of ideas with the air sign of Aquarius. We're having a lot of conversations, but we're also breaking free of the status quo, and we are taking charge of whatever it is that is freeing us from those circumstances and providing us with the awakening that Aquarius wants. It wants to be alive and free and feel like it's going through a revolution, doing something very new and impactful. And also, it's a futuristic type of energy. So it wants to set the future correct and move into that new energy. And so on the 29th, though, the Sun and Jupiter are in an exact conjunction. And so this is early in the morning. In fact, everything that's taking place on the 29th is happening before 7:30 a.m. So if you're up before then, enjoy, but most of us, will kind of be experiencing the waning of this big full moon moment, although we feel it. We feel it for the week going in and coming out for those 3 days, really, when the moon is full. So the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. But the Sun and Jupiter are the two biggest, brightest energies in the sky. And so they create big opportunities. The Sun is our personal identity, and Jupiter expands everything. And it's in Leo, and Leo's all about the heart and our passion places. So we find our passion, we find what really lights us up from the inside, and we expand it, and it's really truly a part of who we are and how we're identifying here in this life. And then this is in an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius at 4 degrees. Pluto is the transformative planet. It's the one that wants to have the death and the rebirth. It wants to transition completely from one phase to another. And so when we have Pluto aspecting, especially at a full moon is about a culmination point. It's the furthest point that we can take this story right here, right now in Leo and Aquarius and this fiery energy. It's the very hottest it's going to get. And it's also a decision-making point. It's going to have a permanent fix on the future. So Pluto makes that transformation be a permanent death and rebirth. And this is leo-aquarius. It has to do with Leo is like about the passion and the heartfelt nature in which we live our lives. And then Aquarius is about how we work in groups and what we're giving and how we're awakening and making big impacts on the future. And so that is all wrapped up into this full moon. Also, on the 29th, Venus is squaring Mars, and this is adding something totally different. Venus and Mars are the cosmic lovers. This is where we can see relationships or the feminine and the masculine natures of things in this square aspect, in a challenging aspect. So relationships, conversations between the masculine and feminine, just the masculine and feminine energies are on two totally different planes right now. And a square is ultimately allowing this situation to level up, to use it as a building block for the future. So there's a lot happening around this full moon that is about building into the future and allowing things to have permanent transition and fixes moving on from here. That really is it for almost the whole week this week, because then all we have are lunar activities until we get to August 3rd, when Chiron stations retrograde. So just kind of backing up, when we have all of these days where we don't have planetary aspects, what we do see is sort of the fallout, the hangover, the continuation of the last aspects that we've been seeing. And we are in the midst of this 4444 cradle. We are in the midst of this full moon. We have the Sun in a conjunction with Jupiter. We have Venus and Mars in a square. And so all that energy is going to be playing out Jupiter oppositioning Pluto. I mean, there's so much going on right now. It's kind of nice. We get a moment to breathe. On the 31st, the moon moves into Pisces. And so this shifts the energy out of Aquarius and brings in some watery energy into the chart. And that's really nice. Most things are fire and air right now. And so we get this water. It brings in more of our emotions. It brings in more of our intuition. It brings in more of a feminine nature, since fire and air are so masculine. The water energy balances that out a little bit. Pisces brings in the opportunity to connect with source and to bring in higher messages from the source energy, whatever that is for you. And then on August 2nd, the moon moves into Aries, back into a fire sign. And this will bring us into effect with Neptune at 4 degrees of Aries. And the moon will make the aspect with that minor grand trine. So we're going to be feeling that as the moon moves through Aries. We can become bold and confident leaders, pioneers, and really step up and use our instinct to take action. Aries is a Mars-ruled sign. And so when the moon is moving through Aries, we can take more bold, confident action. And then on August 3rd, Chiron stations retrograde. Chiron, by all accounts, is not a planet, it's an asteroid. And Chiron is included in the astrology because it's known as the wounded healer. And it is about mastering our wounds, but it's also just about our wounds in general and about our health and the wounds and the things involved with our health in our life that we sort of battle throughout the whole course of our life. It's always kind of coming back up. And so by the time August 3rd rolls around, we're becoming very aware of some of our wounds, and they're being highlighted and put into the spotlight, because anytime a planet stations retrograde or direct, it's felt very strongly. So we have multiple planets now in retrograde, so it's becoming a little bit of a slower time. Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and now Chiron will all be in retrograde fashion, which means that they are going to be moving backwards in the chart, taking care of old things, going back and redoing parts of our chart. And so Chiron just made it into Taurus. It's been in Aries now for many, many years, and it's going to do one more dip back into Aries during this retrograde. So it's going to be going back and cleaning up some of that old work that needs to be reviewed, redone, in terms of the very first degree of Taurus and then the final few degrees of Aries. And the retrogrades are a multi-month process. So that's taking place. And then kind of by the time August 4th rolls around, the 4444 cradle with Jupiter and the Sun is loosening up. They're moving past the 6 degree into the 7 degree and 8 degree of Leo point, and they're starting to separate. But we do still have the 3 outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, very, very closely in this aspect still. We're going to be working with this 4444 action even more in the future, because as Mercury has now stationed direct in Cancer, it's going to be moving into Leo next week and moving through that 4 degree of Leo point, stimulating this beautiful cradle again. And then in a couple of months, Mars is going to also be doing that, is going to move through the 4 degree Leo point too. It's going to, by the time Mars comes through, it's going to be even looser. But this impact of this support and harmonious energy that's coming through. It's giving us an opportunity to shift our reality and to truly move into the next phase of life, and in terms of like greater society, really moving into a new way of living. And then August 5th, the moon moves into Taurus and comes into aspect with Chiron, really bringing up those wounds again. But Taurus is a really nice earth energy and is welcomed right now with all the quick moving fire and air. Whenever we get more earth energy at this time, it is welcomed and helps us to just be more grounded and practical, slow down, be a little more realistic, and take some more kind of rational steps in life. August 6th is another hot day. This is a day when the sun is going to trine Saturn, and Saturn is sitting stationary right now, just moved retrograde last week and is still sitting right around 14, 15 degrees of Aries. And this is a fire trine. So trines are very supportive and they're quick moving. So some really hot, fiery, supportive energy comes in on the 6th that is very inspiring and is pushing us to, again, be more like Aries, to be bold and take steps forward and, really just focus on what we want in life and be instinctual about things. When you really feel something and you just know that you need to take action on it right in this moment, that is an Aries thing right there. Taking that step right when you are inspired to do it because you are a true pioneer in life. And also on the 6th of August, this is the day when Venus, the planet of love and money and relationships and so much more. I mean, Venus is like all the good things in life, sensual, pleasurable things, all the good food and arts and music and comforts. That is Venus. And so she is moving into a new sign out of Virgo, which has been lovely. Venus and Virgo, a grounded earth energy. So we are going to miss that a little bit. But she moves into Libra, which is a very balanced, harmonious energy. And it's actually her home sign. So she comes home to Libra. She becomes diplomatic. And this provides her the opportunity to see different perspectives a little more. When we're in Virgo, Virgo is like very detail oriented and can get kind of just ruled by thinking and thought and picking through the details. But Libra is more about opening up and listening to different perspectives and seeing the different sides of things. And so Venus in Libra is also very focused on relationships. This is where she wants to make sure that the others in life are taken care of and happy and are indeed feeling peaceful. She brings a lot of peace when she's in Libra. And then this is on August 7th, the moon moves into Gemini. So we get more air energy. The 6th and the 7th, shift of more air. Okay. So that just brings more thought, more conversation, more of the opportunity to let things flow around a bit. It's also a more social type of energy. So this would be a good weekend, the 7th, 8th, 9th of August to 7th, 8th anyways, to get out on that Gemini moon and have some social activity. Get out, see your friends. On August 9th, the moon shifts into Cancer and we become much more about our home and our family and being in the more private areas of our life emotionally with the comforts and the safety and security that we require. Cancer is also a water sign, so it really enlivens our emotional state. So we start to feel things very, very deeply when the moon is in Cancer. And on August 10th, we have Venus moving into the 4-degree point of Libra. And this puts her in aspect with all of the outer planets, the 3 outer planets at 4 degrees of Aquarius, Aries, and Gemini. And this provides her the opportunity to intertwine and align and become very harmonious and balanced in the sign of Libra within the realms of what this minor grand trine is doing in our lives, providing us the opportunity to shift into this new reality. Well, now Venus comes in there, and all of those Venus themes and our relationships and our financial matters now get the opportunity to align with that supportive minor grand trine. I just love this. And because Pluto's involved, it's always a permanent fix on the future. We have Venus in an opposition with Neptune, and those are the higher and lower octaves of love. And when they connect, it's all about unconditional love, and they are at their maximum. It's like a full moon between these two planets, and that's a beautiful way to end that week on August 10th, and just to be feeling into that large amount of love that is coming in. So I hope that this was helpful. Again, I am taking a week off next week, so this has been 2 weeks of the astrology, which will replay on my radio program next week. And I really appreciate you all being here, tuned in to the Cosmic Community Astrology with your galactic ambassador, Stacey Dredd. I hope you have an amazing 2 weeks, and I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.